It's Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports. It's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports. Time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dudes Who Bet Sports Show. We're talking Oaklawn. We're talking Remington. We're talking NFL NFL week. I don't know, what was that? Week 14, 15? I don't know.
I think it's
look at this. David Cleveland joining us, and he said Springboard was great. He hit that late pick 4. We'll talk about it here in a second. Papa Dude, how's it going?
Well, it's very cold in my neck of the woods, and it's going to get colder. So winter has hit Missouri, southwest Missouri.
Yeah, cold week here in the southwest Missouri area, without any doubt. I think it's going to get in the negatives Thursday, maybe Friday.
Yeah, I think it's Friday, but it's the wind. I think the high is like 10 on Friday, but the northwest wind of 27 miles an hour, I believe it is. So it'll be negative wind chill for sure. It's going to be really cold Friday.
It's going to be a good weather to just curl up and watch all of our shows this week. We got
That's
a lot
right.
coming up. And so, yeah, we will definitely be doing all of that. Let's get right to it. Davey mentioned it to kick off the show. Said the Springboard Mile was great. Of course, Davey Cleveland, our local Remington Park guy there, he was at the race, and so he had a good time. Sounds like hit the late pick 4. But let's go to Remington Park, and let's go to the Springboard Mile first. We're going to talk about a couple of races that happened, kind of recap it, and we'll kick it off with the big one, the Springboard Mile. Wild Atlantic Storm, a horse you talked about a lot on this show and a lot on our daily show, gets the job done, paying $32. And then the two big favorites, Giant Mischief and Echo again, second and third. All right, Papa Dude, what do you think about this race? What were your thoughts?
Well, it's funny. This is an Iowa-bred horse, which we've talked about the other Iowa-bred horse a lot. Tyler Schreiber didn't even mention this one.
Yeah,
he had ran well at Remington, or not Remington, at Prairie Meadows, and then went down to Remington and had been running good. And he was definitely worth a shot. I didn't think he was going to win with these two really good, promising horses in it. But he got a break when Giant Mischief just missed the start and just got so far behind, couldn't quite catch the horse. But we got to give the horse credit. He held him off, ran extremely well, beat Echo again, which I would have to say was a big disappointment. He had every chance to win and didn't. So, a big upset. I'm glad Davey threw this horse in. I definitely would have thrown him in also because he had a chance to win, and he did it.
Yeah, real quick on that pick 5 that Davey and Michael are talking about, $254.90 for 50 cents on that one, and kind of had some chalky ones, but you also beat two heavy favorites. We'll talk about one in a second in Caddo River, who got beat by Rated R Superstar. That one seemed fairly easy to beat. This one, I think it wasn't tough to get to this horse. It was just how many deep are you going to go here? I would have had to have went 3 to get to him. I like this horse third. And you liked him third as well. Let's talk about those two favorites for a second. You said it. No excuse whatsoever for Echo again. None.
No.
Up the backstretch, I was watching with a couple people, and I said, well, that's your winner if he is what everybody thinks he is. He just clearly is not. He had trouble switching his leads, did not run very well at all. And you mentioned it. Huge excuse for the 5 Giant Mischief. My goodness. Got out of the gate and just walked for a bit. Got way behind. I thought he made a massive move on the turn. Got hung out really wide, though. It just could not get the job done because he just kind of flattened out late. The 5 Giant Mischief, look out going forward. I think he's got a lot of talent. Or the 1 Echo again, I think you're going to have to cut him back in distance.
Yeah. I think the 5 was the best horse in the race. Don't you?
Yep.
Because he just blew the start.
I think what's going to happen is the 5 is going to be the best horse coming out of here. And the 9 is going to be that type, Wild Atlantic Storm, that he's probably going to make you earn it, right? Like, he's a pretty honest horse. We've seen him get beat before, but he always runs well. He makes you earn it. You better run your A game to beat him at this kind of level. You mentioned Iowa breds. How about the Iowa breds this year? I mean, it's just unbelievable. Tyler's tribe, we've gushed about. He kind of fell off late, but did really well and beat Open Company up at Prairie Meadows a couple of times. Ain't Life Grand won the Iowa Derby, went up to run in the Travers.
Yeah.
And, tough version of the Travers, or he could have got third or fourth. And then this horse wins the Springboard Mile. Incredible.
It is. I forgot about Ain't Life Grand.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the star of the meet at Prairie Meadows, really.
Yeah.
And I forgot all about him. So these are really good horses coming out of Iowa. Haven't ever seen this many at one time. So.
Yeah, Dr. Tane joins us. We were sweating out that Bears game, but
That's
Dr.
right.
And all of us were ready to get that one home. You're out. Yeah, Ain't Life Grand, certainly one that has stood out in a big way, as well as Wild Atlantic Storm and Tyler's Tribe. So the Iowa breds flexing the muscle, beating Open Company a few times in spots where they were not supposed to. This horse was 15-1, and Ain't Life Grand was double-digit odds as well up there, winning the Iowa Derby and beating some nice horses there.
He ought to be about ready to go again.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're probably going to aim for one of those older races, older now that he will be 4-year-old in a couple of weeks at Oaklawn. They're probably going to point for that. And that makes a lot of sense.
Sure.
For that. But
looking forward to seeing him. I hope he progresses.
Yeah, me too. And I think he will. Last I heard, he is progressing, so to speak. He is getting bigger and stronger. So look out. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to kind of see him next year. He has the look, and according to his trainer, he probably should be better as a 4-year-old. So we'll see. But we'll see if that guy can train up there in Iowa. I don't know.
That's right. We don't know what that guy sometimes doesn't know what he's doing.
That's right. All right, let's go a few races back to the Trapeze Stakes. Not an official Kentucky Oaks prep, but I thought this was a really nice performance, one that will jump on the Kentucky Oaks trail. We talked about Olivia Twist a lot. You were kind of between the 3 and the 8. The 3 just simply dominated in the spot. What were your thoughts of Olivia Twist?
Oh, I think this is a nice looking little filly here.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, she got some promise. Yeah, really ran well. The 8 ran real well too, didn't it?
Well, the 8 was the one you kind of liked, and I liked the 3. We were really between those two, and the 8 seemed to be there, and then it was almost like something happened, and she just quit.
That's true.
She's better than last.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
But this is a good-looking little filly that we need to keep an eye on here.
Yeah. Yeah. Dennis chimes in, and him and I were talking during the Remington Park night. They had another live stream, and I jumped on there for a second just in the chat to see what those guys were up to. And it was fun talking to you as well, Dennis. And we had a lot of fun those last 4 or 5 races. So Olivia Twist looks good. We'll see her next time in a stakes. Probably, what's your guess? Oaklawn, I would imagine.
I would think they would take that horse over there. Yeah. That'd be a logical choice. You got to run. I mean, that track's something, so good. You got to take that horse over there and see how she stacks up against the best.
Well, she's 3 for 3, so we'll see how it goes there. All right.
Question for you.
Okay.
Comment. How many winners did we hit at Remington on Saturday?
Yeah, that's I'm glad you brought that up. I'd forgot about it. So the free picks on the website hit 8 of 12 on top on the Remington Park card. And I'm thinking, I don't know off the top of my head now, but 2 of the losses got second and the other 2 got third. I think we hit the board with all 12. Got some exactas, got some tries, got the trifecta in the feature. And that was really thanks to you for talking me into throwing that 9 in there. And we boxed the try with the 9 involved and was able to get that home. So good job.
Yeah, we had a great night. I tell you, that was fun.
Yeah. And that try paid $75 for 50
Wow.
cents. So
because of that 9 horse.
Absolutely. And sometimes, you just got to beat, those horses, those heavy horses on top in that situation. And we did it there, If it's the same 3 horses with one of the big favorites on top, it might pay $20,
Exactly.
So it worked out. All right. Dennis chiming in now. He was high on Rated R Superstar going into this race. And we were talking to those, some of these other guys. They're like, I don't know. We like Cattle River. Like, no, Rated R is going to win. And we were right. It was great. Rated R Superstar wins the 11th race. Cattle River, the heavy favorite, nowhere to be found. two really good local Oklahoma horses run 1-2 here. Number one dude, the Oklahoma bred, gets second. He ran great. But I know you want to gush about Rated R Superstar. You've got some stats. I want to hear them.
Well, you and I love the older horses.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you there, Michael.
Yeah, listen, I also got, I can't remember who, somebody sent me a message on Twitter saying, boy, I'm glad your dad talked about the 9 because they did like a little saver bet. Oh, it's Vicky.
Okay.
Vicky Felker. So she was happy for that as well. All right, go ahead though. It's Rated R Super.
Well, you and I have always been fans of these hard knocking horses that just run and run and run and run. And this horse is 2 weeks away from being 10 and probably is running better than it's ever ran.
Yep.
And I'm not going to mention any trainers' names. I'm not going to, except the connections that we have now.
Mm-hmm.
I went back and did extensive research. And, I don't know how good this horse could have been if it had had the proper connections through the years. In its early going, the first 25 races the horse ran, the first 25 races when it was young and was 3, 4, probably even 5 years old, it did okay. He won some races.
Yep.
In those 25 races, he was at 13 different tracks. 13 different tracks. Digest that a minute.
I know.
You don't do a horse like that.
No.
You just don't. You just ship him all over the place. 17 different jockeys in 25 races. This is a crime. This is a crime. Look up who that trainer is, and if you ever want to have a horse, don't give him to that trainer. Just don't do it.
Right.
The trainer doesn't care about the horse.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention the name, but the trainer does not care about You can't do a horse like that. You just can't. So by the time the next trainer got him, I think he was pretty well done. I think
he was cooked.
He was cooked.
Mm-hmm.
And he, again, he only ran at 4 different tracks. He had 9 different jocks. He went 17, 2, 2, and 2. So out of 17 starts, he got a couple of wins, a couple of seconds, and a couple of thirds. And then I remember the day like it was yesterday when Danny Caldwell, well-known guy in the circuit that we follow, Oaklawn, Prairie Meadows, and Remington, we follow that one religiously, claimed this horse for $50,000. And by the way, it's the only race the horse has ever ran for a tag, except maybe an allowance.
Yeah, with the optional tag.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The only claiming race this horse has ever been in out of 65 starts.
Yeah.
This is incredible. And Danny claimed him for $50,000. And I remember that day and I texted you, I said, what in the world is he thinking?
Yep.
Because the horse hadn't run well in a long, long time. And Danny doesn't claim $50,000 horses. He just doesn't. But Danny is one of the best at doing this. I wish Danny was listening. I mean, you know him extremely well. I don't. But anyway, I admire him. So since Danny has had the horse, I think he bought him when he was 7.
Mm-hmm.
So he ran him as a 7, an 8, and a 9-year-old.
Yep.
Okay. He's been in 17 starts and he's won 6 times with 3 seconds and a third as a 7, an 8, and a 9-year-old. So of his 13 wins, 7 of them or 6 of them have come as a 7, 8, and 9-year-old. And it shows you what stability can do to a horse.
Mm-hmm.
He's ran at 4 different tracks. Mainly, though, all but one have been at Oaklawn, Prairie Meadows, or Remington, which is the circuit Danny's on.
Yeah.
They ran him at Lone Star once. I think it was on the turf at Lone Star. No, that was at Remington. They ran him on the turf. He's had 5 different jocks during those races. And he's running better than he's ever run in his life. Over his career, he's ran 65 times. He's had 29 different jockeys. And he's ran at 15 different racetracks. This horse has ran at every racetrack that's anything in the country. Saratoga, Churchill, Keeneland, Belmont, Pimlico, Oaklawn, you name it. He's not been on the West Coast. He's not, Turfway. He's been Turfway. This is an amazing animal.
Yeah, he really has become incredible, and almost $1.8 million after that win this horse has earned. And he said it. He's earned $600,000 this year. So that's unbelievable.
That's a 9-year-old.
I know. He earned about 3,300 last year in 2021 as an 8-year-old. So as an 8 and 9-year-old, he's almost at $1 million. That is incredible.
And he ran great the other night. He had to hold off number one dude. I tell you, that was a great stretch run between those two.
So when you add in 2020, he has made right at $1 million as 7, 8, and for years 7, 8, and 9. That is really, really incredible. And you mentioned it. They got a little bit of stability with this horse. They didn't try to move him all over the place.
Nope.
And they got him kind of in a program that they put on like Domain's Rap, same kind of thing. When they claimed him, just try to, I've heard Danny talk about this some, and they basically said they really ease up on the training with the horse when they get a little older. They don't take him out quite as much. They don't work him quite as hard. And he compared it to like a Peyton Manning. He goes, when he was playing, he goes, when you got to the twilight of your career, like you're a Peyton Manning, you can't tell me he went out there and practiced as hard as when he practiced when he was in his 20s. And he's probably right. Now, I don't know anything about training a racehorse, but that's his theory on it anyway, and seems to be working.
Yeah. He's ran in 43 stakes races out of 65 starts. This is a fantastic horse. He really is. He's just durable.
Yeah. And
he likes to run. I don't know whether you saw Danny interviewed after the race.
Yeah.
They asked him about the turf, what was going on. Why'd you put him on the turf? He goes, well, he needed to run. There wasn't any place to run. There wasn't any race to put him in, so we tried it.
Yeah.
And, Anyway,
yeah,
I love the horse. I love it. Every time he runs, I got to watch him. I make it a point to try to, if I can, to watch him. He's something else.
Curdy Manilow said, looks like I got blocked on my main account, but just here, I don't know, that is not possible. I wouldn't know how we would have blocked one of your accounts. You're one of our better commenters, but I don't think you did. But Rated R Superstar Clean, blah blah blah. Yeah, for sure. He just is chucking off those wins. So
he just runs and runs and runs, and you get these sometimes. You don't see them very often because they don't run this long.
Yes. Yeah, pretty crazy. All right. Well, Shotty's here. That means we can talk about Oaklawn and her favorite horse. We're not going to start with it. We are going to start with the Tinsel Stakes. And by the way, these horses that ran in the Tinsel Stakes, you better be prepared because next time you're going to be facing Rated R Superstar. He's going to Oaklawn next.
Oh, yeah. He's heading to Oaklawn.
Try to win as a 10-year-old. So, but let's talk about the Tinsel. We were spot on with this one, and we watched this race together. You were over at the house when this one ran. Mm-hmm. And we were both against Run Classic. We didn't like the distance whatsoever, right? Yeah. And as the horse was turning for home, we looked at each other like, oh, we may be dumb here. But pretty much exactly what happened or what we thought would happen happened. Mm-hmm. The horse looked great. We thought the horse was the best horse of the race. We didn't think he'd get the distance. He stopped once they got turned for home. Your horse is the winner, Bal Harbour. My horse comes in second. Last Samurai. What did you think of this race? Oh,
that was a good one. And I've got to kind of give a thumbs down to the Oaklawn racing crowd this day because that horse Run Classic went off at 6-5. Yeah. I thought they were smarter than that. It's not only them; it's simulcast all over the country. But I was surprised the horse went off at 6-5, having never done anything at this distance. So that was a dead giveaway there. And the horse did run well for a while, but he just didn't have it. And Last Samurai, I thought, ran really well too, just not quite good enough to beat Bal Harbour. And while we're talking here, the winner of the race, Christian Torres, hopped on an airplane after that, flew to Remington Park, and won with Olivia Twist.
Yep.
Won a race there too. So he had quite a day. Christian Torres did.
Yeah, we were talking about that on the Thursday show with how's he going to get there. We were speculating, probably going to take a plane, and then Shoddy tweeted us a picture, and sure enough, he was boarding a plane in Arkansas to go to Oklahoma. So yeah, he comes out and wins a couple of stakes, and we said it. He needs to be at both places because he can win stakes both days or both places on the same day, and he did it.
That's right.
And by the way, he was right back at Oaklawn winning races Sunday as well. And by the way, he was the leading rider at Remington Park this meet. Incredible.
Hey, he's on a roll, and he's got to keep riding, man. You never know whenever that streak will stop. Well,
it's really unbelievable how this has happened with Christian Torres. He hasn't come out of nowhere, so to speak, but he certainly has stepped up his game in a big way. Definitely a jock that we'd heard of, but man, he just looks really good this year. So with this one, it was really a distance play, right? Diodoro with Bal Harbor, 2 races back, mile and 1/8, looked great. And Last Samurai is just kind of that hard knocker, dropping in class, but had proven distance form, and he just couldn't get to Bal Harbor in the end. But it was a good race.
Yep, it was. It's always good to get one.
All right, let's go to the other stakes real quick here. The Poinsettia Stakes. This was one, we said it. They all kind of look the same. We took a shot with Ari Oakley and she didn't run very well. We were against Caribbean Caper and, got third. We were right to be against her. But, Pretty Birdie was one we didn't mention much. She just kind of dominated. We did like Sarah Harper as a little bit of a long shot. I don't know what more really to say about this one. I don't think these are great horses. We didn't think so going into this race, right? Like at all, right?
No, we had a hard time picking this one because we've considered Sarah Harper, and that horse is not very good, I don't think, and that's why I didn't pick the horse. We both went with Ari Oakley because of the price, I think, more than anything else. So the horse was 5-1 on the morning line, figuring, you're going to get at least 3-1, 4-1. And anyway, very disappointing in that horse. But I don't think we're going to hear much from any of these down the road.
I don't either. I think the next kind of step down the road, you're going to have some a little bit better horses. Pretty Birdie, though, at times can jump up and run a pretty big race. I just don't know if she's, quote unquote, that good. We'll see, though. It was a good race. We shouldn't throw shade here. It was a pretty good race for her. To win this one and move on to the next. All right. Now we got to talk about Barber Road. If you haven't seen it yet, I did a video on identifying bad favorites and a couple of angles that you can identify some bad favorites. Barber Road was subject line number 1 on that video, much to Shoddy's disappointment. But at 4-5, he's like, your mouth's going to water when you see him at 4-5 in any race. And we're able to get him beat here. It wasn't that bad of a race, I guess, first back for Barber Road. But, disc jockey for Christian Torres and Robertino Diodoro get the job done here. Do you have any thoughts on Barber Road?
You got to be disappointed, don't you?
He was worse than I thought he would be.
An allowance, you can't win it. I think you've got to be disappointed in that. I would be. I would think he would have to win this race, wouldn't you? I just think there's issues somewhere. Maybe he didn't like the track. I don't know, but I just think you got to win this race if you're Barber Road,
Dennis says Barber Road is going to win next out. Where do you think they're going to run him to where he can win? That's my question. Because he's not going to beat these type of horses, I don't think. He is just the type that's always going to fool you. He just has that look, man. He just cannot get it done in these races. And I get it was a drop down in class and it was a layoff, but he just kind of plops for second and third, doesn't he?
Yeah. Well, if it's a drop down in class, you have to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Shoddy's
is not happy with me. No.
Not happy, and I wouldn't be either. I'd be extremely disappointed in the horse.
Car Ramrod says maybe Delta would be good. Barber Road will have to go to Asanobia to win for Michael. Probably.
Keep pouring it on Shoddy, boys. Keep pouring it on.
So well, even Shoddy, and she mentioned in another comment that she was disappointed with Barber Road. She very, very good for Shoddy and Davey, the fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
Practical Move wins the Los Alamitos Derby. So very, very good. Sorry, Los Alamitos Futurity, I should have said. So very, very good there. And yeah, my horse was 5th, and yours horse was 1st, and yours horse was drafted in the 5th round, and mine in the 1st. So a big leg up to Shoddy and Davey.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, very good pick up there in the 5th round.
Yeah. By the way, Shoddy, I don't know that I've seen you, but I did enjoy watching you guys on the fantasy draft. You guys were really good.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Shoddy and Davey yet, you can check out the last Blinkers Off episode where we did the fantasy draft. They joined us live, and you could tell they were having a lot of fun, and we were having a lot of fun with them. That was a good time.
It was really good.
Anything else at Oaklawn you kind of want to touch on before?
Well, real quick, let's go over.
Yes, jockeys and trainers.
Yeah, jockey standings at this point. Well, let's do the top 3.
Yeah.
Taurus is leading with 11 wins out of 33 starts. And Arietta is right there too. He's only got 7 wins. He got 11 seconds, 6/3 out of 39 starts. What a opening beginning for him at this meet. And then Balarano kind of tailed off after a really hot start in the first week. He still got 7 wins, 7 seconds, 7/3 out of 31 starts. That's not bad either. Leading trainer Diodoro has 8 wins already. Ron Moquette added a couple more this week, and now he has 6. And Chris Hardman has won 5 out of 12. And here's the big upset so far. In 29 starts, Steve Asmussen has 1 win at Oaklawn after 2 weeks. That last comment you threw up there about Bajarano not knowing the finish line, I don't know. I'm sure you've kept up on Twitter about the track announcer making a comment about that. What's your opinion on that?
I think people really love to hate on Vic. Yeah. And I think they just listened into Oaklawn for anything to try to pile on him. I didn't think anything of it. And I think he made a really good point. I thought his defense was really good.
Yeah.
He said, look, if you're announcing a sporting event and you see somebody doing something wrong, you're going to call it out. Right?
Exactly.
I think it's fine.
I mean, if that was my jockey and he didn't know where the finish line was, I mean, I can understand that happening. I really can. Mm-hmm. But you still got to be mad about it. If you don't know where the finish line is, you should know that when you get on that horse. And I didn't see anything wrong with it either. I didn't get it. I mean, and I'm not a guy that gets on jockeys. You know that. I don't criticize them like most race guys do.
Yeah.
But if that had been my jockey, or if I'd have bet on that horse, I'd have been a little upset, I think.
Yeah. I don't think it's a big deal. I think him forgetting the names of the horses is a bigger deal at times than he does than this. I just think it was just one of those things that, and also he had said like either that day or the day before that Rafael Bejarano is one of the nicest guys in the world. He loves him and all this stuff. He was basically telling him, hey, stop doing what you're doing. You're embarrassing yourself.
Yeah.
I don't think it was bad.
I didn't either.
No,
I didn't think it was either. I thought that's what the track announcer, he wasn't mean about it.
No.
He just said, Mr. Bajarano, you need to start learning where the finish lines are or something like that. And that was it.
Here's what's interesting to me. And this is bigger than Vic Stauffer and what happened there. I find myself a lot of times I'll be watching a sporting event, or I'll be watching Oaklawn and Vic Stauffer does that. And while I'm watching it, I hear it and I think absolutely nothing of it. I mean, nothing of it.
Yeah.
And then an hour later, I'll get on Twitter and everybody's throwing a fit about it. And I'm thinking, wait, is that what I saw? Oh, it is. Why are everybody throwing a fit? I mean,
I don't know.
It's crazy to me.
I don't know that I would have even noticed anything really much about it.
Dude, I didn't think a thing of it. Not a thing. I didn't even laugh. I was just like, Yeah, he rode him. Okay, let's go on to the next race, right? I'll turn to Gulfstream now. Did not care a bit about it.
I think people get too involved with the race announcers. I don't, it's not that big a deal. Really, it's just, it's just not.
Yeah.
And that's not easy to do, call a race. You got to be pretty sharp.
Well, it's definitely not easy. I don't envy the job, but it is what it is, right? I mean, it's like trust me, if I, this Ron is
you're not a Vic fan, so
Ron says he should be suspended for this.
From what?
For calling a race, I guess.
We're gonna fine him $100. He only makes 50 anyway, so
that's probably true. Track announcer at Oaklawn, yeah, that'd be a week's salary. No, I don't know that for a fact, but yeah, it is what it is. It's like I said, Vic is probably one of the few that would have done that. And end of the day, maybe he should, maybe he shouldn't. But if you guys are up in arms about that, I don't know. And listen, if I would be the first to criticize Vic if I thought it was necessary.
Yes, you would.
So, he's not that friendly to me or us. So
oh, he's not? I didn't know that.
No, I think he got fed some bad information about racing dudes when he first got there. So, yeah. Oh, Ron saying the jock. Yeah, I agree. You got to know the finish line.
Okay, Ron. I admire you a lot more now.
Yeah, I do agree that there could
That's
be
right.
To that, Ron. I apologize. Yeah.
You're right. I do too, Ron. There's no doubt. Well, I don't know if he should be suspended, but he should be taken off some rides. If I was a trainer, I would, or at least in the mile. I guess that was the mile, right?
Yeah.
I guess I would have to say, now, Raphael, the finish line is at the 16th pole. You do understand that, don't you?
One of those quirky things at Oaklawn Park.
It is. It is.
But Vic could say or can tell Bejarano that, hey, the whole first year I called at Oaklawn, I didn't know that was the finish line either. Remember when he used to call him after the finish line? And so what he did is he would remind himself over and over during the race that it ends at the 16th hole. If you go back and listen, the first few times he called it, I was lying. It's not the whole year, but the first few times he called it, he called him all the way to the
finish line. Here's what I like about Vic. And I know you know him much better than I do, but I remember the first year he was there and they interviewed him and he had been doing it for 3 or 4 weeks. And he said, fans, bear with me.
Yeah.
I have been horrible these first 3 or 4 weeks because I'm used to calling races at Hollywood, and was he at Golden Gate too?
Hollywood was where he was before Oaklawn. Yeah.
Okay. And the fields were small.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew every horse because the same ones ran over and over and over again. He said, I've got to Oaklawn. We got 12 horses in a field, and I don't know these horses. And he goes, I am really making a ton of mistakes, more mistakes than you guys even know. Yeah. And I thought that was pretty cool that he admitted that.
Oh, I think, yeah, I agree. And people were throwing a fit about him then. And it's like, guys, and what you just said, he's been calling 5-horse fields. And now he's at Oaklawn. There's 12 in every race. He has no idea who these silks are. There's no crossover really between the California circuit versus the Oaklawn circuit, especially then. Now you've kind of got Diodoro that go both places. But again, you had to cut him some slack. Not only that, he hadn't called in a long time. And then you get thrown at Oaklawn, and it's the winter, and it might be raining or snowing, and it's like, that's a tough place to call.
Well, you and I have been down there when it's snowed, and you can't see a thing on it. And there's been times it's been foggy down there, and he can't see anything on that back stretch. You cannot see a thing.
And I've never asked a race color this. I would venture to say Oaklawn's one of the tougher places to call because of the weather. Yep. And, it's just I don't know. The setup seems a little bit funky. I think it'd be tough to call there.
Yeah.
And just the pure number of horses in the races.
Yeah. And you've got a fan base that knows what's going on too.
That's the other thing. You can't get away with bad calls. Yeah.
No, they're going to ride. Well, they were all over the legendary Terry Wallace as he aged and got a little bit older and messed up a race or two. This is the guy that was Mr. Oaklawn, the greatest ambassador for the track ever. They got on him too.
Well, he did screw up the Arkansas Derby. And
Well, he did. But he was like 200 years old too. So.
He got up there. He needed.
Listen, Terry Wallace was one of the nicest men that ever walked the earth.
Yes, yeah. He called about 5 years too long.
He did,
but he was the best racetrack caller that Oaklawn's ever had.
He was a legend. The guy was a legend and a nice man.
He was. He was Oaklawn, like you said, and he had great race calls.
He did
before those last couple.
Yep.
All right. Well, since you're done. Oh, I was going to say one more thing. The Rockets hit the late pick 5 at Oaklawn on Sunday for $776. We talked about those trainers. We really leaned heavily on Chris Hartman and Diodoro in the sequence, and they won 3 of the 5 races.
Wow.
So Diodoro and Hartman, like you mentioned, those are 2 to really, really, really look at as we kind of move forward here.
Yeah, Diodoro does extremely well down there anyway. And Hartman can get on a roll as well. He won't have as many horses as Diodoro does.
Right.
So, and you're on a roll. You had a week, my God, college basketball. You ate it up. I tell you, I usually beat you, but I did really well, and I couldn't beat you this week. You were nailing everything.
Yeah, number 1 on tally site.
Unbelievable. You were just nailing them all.
Surprised to say the least. That's probably the picks I worked the least amount on and did the best.
Well, I forget what day it was. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. You hit 29 out of 31. And then yesterday, you hit 35 out of 40.
Yeah.
And here I'm going, I got 31 out of 40. And I'm going, God, that was great. And I'm looking up at you. My God, he got 35 out of 40. And they weren't easy either. So
no,
I won't get you this week. There won't be as many this week. They won't play.
Yeah. Shotty mentioned the weather. Good news is Oaklawn's not running this weekend. So weather won't be a problem this weekend. Thankfully.
Yeah. They
may not have been running even if they did have scheduled races.
Right.
So
right.
They're off. I believe December 30th will be their next.
I think that's
race.
what they said. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the NFL. Let me ask you this. Do you want to do the scores from the games or do you want to do the standings in the playoff picture?
How much time you want to waste? I think we can do the standings and cover the scores at the same time.
Okay, let's do well. Okay, what am I going to put up on the screen here? The standings.
That's fine.
All right, let's start at the AFC.
Okay.
Here are your current 7. I've got them up on the screen now for the podcast listeners. Buffalo in front, Kansas City 2nd, Cincinnati 3rd, Tennessee hanging on to 4th, hanging on that division. Baltimore 5th, the Chargers 6th, and the Dolphins in 7th.
Okay.
I think this is how it's going to end up being. What do you think?
Buffalo has a little tougher schedule than the Chiefs is the only thing. I think they're better than the Chiefs. Dadgummit, I was going to look at that. And we moved up the time. Okay, let me look here real quick. It won't take but a second because Buffalo's first in my magazine here. All right, let's look at their schedule. All right, they got to go to Chicago this week. They should win that. Here's the toughie they have. They have to go to Cincinnati on a Monday night.
Yep.
And then they have New England at home. While the Chiefs have the Broncos, the Seahawks, both at home. And they end up at Vegas, and that's kind of a tricky game.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. That's that game with Cincinnati for Buffalo is going to be tough because the Bengals are playing really well. So that would be the only thing. I don't think – now, the only other one is Jacksonville could catch Tennessee as bad as the Titans are playing. That would be the only other one. But I would agree with you on the rest of them. I think the Bengals are going to hold on over the Ravens, you know. But, talk about some of these games. You got that game, Buffalo and Miami. I've got to give Miami a ton of credit for going up there in that cold weather and playing as well as they did.
Yeah.
They took it to them, and they almost won that, and they could have won that. They really were impressive. I was really impressed with them. They got to get home now, finally. And again, we've mentioned this over and over and over again. They've played 3 straight road games, 2 of them in California. The other's not an easy trip to Buffalo. 3 straight. And they got home now, and they've got Green Bay next week. They got to go to New England, and they got the Jets. So you would think they'll win 2 of those, and they'll be in, I would think. You never know about the Chargers.
I think Miami's probably safe. The Chargers, you never know, but I've looked at their schedule. I think they're probably safe. I know that's tough to say when it's the Chargers, but they should be safe. They should. Here, I'm going to read it off to you right now. They have, they're at the Colts. I mean, you got to win that game.
You have to win that.
They're at home against the Rams.
You have to win that.
They're on the road against Denver.
Yep. They should win 2 of those for sure.
And 2 of them's going to get them all. 2's going to get you in. So
yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
They should be in. You mentioned Baltimore. I think they'll be good enough to make a wild card. Yeah,
I do too.
Tennessee, Jacksonville, they play last game of the year. That might determine that.
Well, I got Tennessee's schedule here.
Go ahead.
They should win next week. They have Houston at home. I just can't see how Houston's got anything left after the 2 performances they put up the last 2 weeks and lost them both.
Yeah.
They were great against Dallas, and they played really well yesterday against the Chiefs and didn't win. And now they got to go on the road to Tennessee. Surely to God, Tennessee's going to win that. Yeah. And then Tennessee's got Dallas, and that game's at home. I don't see them winning that. But let's look at Jacksonville real quick, because if Tennessee wins 1 of them, that gets them to 8. Jacksonville's they go to New York to play the Jets.
That's the big game.
Yeah, they're at Houston, but they got to win 2 of them. Well, they really need to win them all.
Well, not really. If they win them all, they're going to make it. But if the Titans are 8-8 going into that game and Jacksonville is 7-9, if Jacksonville beats them, they're in. They will have 2 wins over the Titans.
Oh, that's right. They have beat them. So yeah, they could get in.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely could. If they could beat the Jets, and that's a big if, but if they could, that all of a sudden they are in a basically where they
and they're playing really well right now.
Yeah, they are.
They really are. Just running down through this, the big winners in the AFC this week. Buffalo continues to win. The Chiefs continue to win.
Yeah.
The Chargers, huge win for them this week. The Bengals going into Tampa, coming from behind and winning. That's huge. And of course, the Jags, the big losers, Baltimore. But are we surprised?
Well, I thought the biggest loser was New England. Did you see?
Well, yeah, that's next.
Yeah.
I'm saving them for last. Wow. Tennessee, huge. That was not good. And the Jets losing as well.
Yeah.
But New England. Now we got to talk about this.
Ugh.
Now, okay, for those of you that didn't see it, if you didn't see it, you're not going to believe it when you do see it.
Yeah.
The game was tied, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what was there, like 2 seconds left when they kicked off, 4 seconds, something like that?
Yeah.
Oakland. Vegas had just tied the game at 24. All that was left was to kick it off. Or did they run a play?
No, they kicked it off, and then the Chargers or the Patriots ran a play.
They ran a play. They ran the ball.
No, this was the play. They threw a pass, and then they started lateraling it after the pass.
Okay. Now, I refuse to believe that Belichick called that.
No, they've said it was not called. The receiver said this was not a called play.
Okay.
Yeah.
This has got to be the dumbest play ever.
Yeah.
Now, so they threw it to the running back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he lateraled it first. But it was a safe lateral. It was just like 2 yards apart, lateral to a receiver who then threw the ball, 15 yards backwards?
Yes. Yep.
What in the hell was he thinking?
I don't know.
And it was intercepted.
Yeah. He
not only threw it backwards, he threw it across the field a little bit.
Yep.
right to a Raider, who then ran over a guy that tried to tackle him. And one of the worst tackles I ever saw, but I think he was shocked.
Yeah.
And he ran it for a touchdown, and they beat him, and they may have eliminated New England on that right there.
Yep. I mean, if New England wins that game, they're up here in that 8-6 bracket, and I'm not sitting here saying it's a done deal for these top 7.
And they have the tiebreaker between those two teams had they won that game too.
Yeah, I know. Unbelievable that they lose.
And here's the thing, guys. This is what makes coaching so hard. That's not coaching.
No.
That's stupidity on the part of your players who should know better at this level. And you're standing over on the sideline, you're going, what are they doing?
Yeah.
And I guarantee you when they went out on the field, they said, okay, one last play. Let's run it, see what happens, and play for overtime, see if we can pull it out.
Yep. It's crazy what happens. So
it
they're
really is.
I mean, they're in big trouble. They're probably done.
I think that took them. I do. That would have been a huge win for them on the road. It would have been their second straight. They'd have got to 8-6, and the Jets lost. I believe that because let me look real quick here.
Well, the biggest part of it is this: they have to finish with the Bengals, the Dolphins, and the Bills. So you can't lose to the Raiders when you got those 3 games left.
Because you'd had a little breathing room there had you got that in. You've been 8-6. They may not win any of those.
I don't think they will.
No. I think they have Miami at home.
Yeah.
They might beat them at New England, but they're not going to Buffalo and beat the Bills unless the Bills have everything clinched, and they're not going to because the Chiefs, I don't think, are going to lose again.
I think the Bills have to win out. So, yeah, there's not going to be any bye games for the Bills. No.
No.
There's a group of teams at 6-8 that aren't the Jaguars. The Jaguars still have a great shot. These other 6-8 teams, Raiders, Cleveland, and Steelers, the Raiders should have their asses completely kicked for the dumbass games they've lost this year.
Yep.
They should be up here with a chance. Now they have to have a lot go right. And the Steelers, man, if they just would have started a little better, maybe with a chance. I think they're pretty much out though.
The Steelers, the Raiders they're better than 6-8.
Yeah. Yep, they are. They just had some terrible losses. They've got the talent to be right up here in this wild card picture, but
they do
not to be. All right, let's go to the NFC where we've got basically a shoe in for the number 1. That's the Eagles at 13-1. Heard Jalen Hurts is a little banged up after the game on a Sunday against the Bears, so but he can afford to take a week or 2 off. Nothing serious. Vikings got a huge win. They're now at number 2 at 11-3. The 49ers keep rolling. They are 3rd. Tampa somehow hanging on in that division at 6-8 right now. They're 4th. Cowboys lose, but that's kind of what they do this time of year. They're 5th. The Giants got the huge win over the Redskins to be 6th. And then, the Commanders to be 6th. And then the Commanders sit in 7th. This one's going to have some moving and shaking still, I think, because Seattle's sitting there at 7-7. And then, of course, the Detroit Lions sit there at 7-7. You basically have got 4 spots there, and only 2 teams can make it. What were your thoughts on the NFC action?
Well, the Minnesota game was phenomenal.
Yes.
And Indianapolis, how can you lose that game? But they did.
Yeah.
Dallas was putrid again. They should have lost to Houston the week before. That's a big lot. The biggest win was the Giants. No question about it.
No doubt.
And I was really impressed with them. The Commanders turned the ball over way too much, and that beat them. They're not good enough to fumble the ball all over the field like they did and win. They're just not.
Mm.
And the Giants showed a lot of toughness. Barkley was great. I think they clinched a playoff spot with the win. I think they got enough of a cushion. Although their schedule's tough. But
I don't know because they have to go to Minnesota this week. They do have the Colts at home. That should be a win. But they go to Philly last game of the year. That Philly game, though, may not mean anything to Philadelphia.
It may not. Yeah.
So you're right. I mean, I don't think they clinched it. They went a long ways. I think they can make it now.
Well, if they beat Indy, that'll give them no worse than 9-7-1.
Mm-hmm.
I think Seattle is done.
Yeah, I don't like Seattle.
Now, Detroit could still get in there. They can win their last 3.
Yeah, they're going to have to win their last 3. Gosh,
They
at the
could.
Panthers, a game they should win. The Bears at home, game they should win at Green Bay. I mean, they should win these games.
They should. They went into New York and won a must game.
Yep.
They got to go into Carolina and win a must game. They've got to go win that game. They're better than Carolina. They should do it. And it wouldn't it be terrible if it came down to Green Bay and Green Bay beat them that last game of the year and knocked them out.
Oh, I know. And it's possible because I think this is going to come down to the last week. You've got the Redskins. They have to go to San Francisco this week. I don't think that's going to be good, but then they've got back-to-back home games against the Browns and the Cowboys. The Cowboys were probably going to have 0 to play for that last week.
Yeah.
They're going to go 9-7-1. And I think New York's going to go 9-7-1.
Yep.
And I think it's going to come down to can the Lions, who have been miraculous, can they get 3 more? I don't know.
Yeah, in order to do that, they're going to have to win 9 of their last 10. That's what it would be. Yeah. 9 of their. I just don't know. Very few teams are good enough to do that.
Yeah.
Even the great teams like the Bills and the Chiefs, they haven't done it. So that's really hard to do that. How about this Eagles team? I tell you, even when they don't play very well,
yeah,
they win. And I called that one yesterday. But I thought they were going to beat me the way they came back like that. And anyway, they are impressive. I don't think Hurts will miss this game this week. I don't think he will. I think he plays in that Dallas game.
If he's able, he will probably play.
He will play. He is a tough son of a gun. You want that 5th spot because you're going to get to play the NFC South Division winner.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever that is horrible.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to play a road game. You just as well play a crappy team on the road in that first round. So Dallas is in the catbird seat as far as that goes.
Yep. Dallas, and then they'll if they would win that game, they're probably going to play Philadelphia. And it's a divisional game. They can go up there and beat them. I'm not saying they're going to. They're probably not, but they could.
They could. And so you want that 5th spot. If you're not going to win the division, you want that 5th spot. They're probably pulling for anybody but Tampa to win it. But they're pretty. I just think Dallas is locked in at 5 right now. They probably just need one more win. Yeah,
exactly, and they'll get it, even though they're choking like normal. Ron says Philly versus Buffalo or Cincinnati in the Super Bowl. Book it. They seem to be the 3 teams that are playing the best right now. I'd throw San Francisco as kind of that 4th team that's playing the best right now. Would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. The 49ers are probably – the Eagles and the 49ers are playing the best in the NFC. And don't discount the Chiefs yet because they still could get the home field. They still could.
That's going to be the big key. If they get the home field, maybe you start to lean to them. They're not very good.
Look good. I agree.
I really don't think they're that good. We'll see, but
I don't either. But here's the deal. I don't think they're good either, but they won. And they did. And had they lost, that would have been just a horrible, horrible loss. But they did win. So if they get the home field, it's going to be hard to go in there and beat them, even a team as good as Buffalo. The other thing is, too, I worry sometimes about Allen getting hurt for Buffalo, the pounding he takes. The other night, were you watching Aaron when he broke that run? He just ran away from people.
Yep.
The guy is just so sneaky fast. He is so fast for a guy that big.
He is. Yeah, that was it. Like you said, that was a hell of a game. There was a lot of players in that game that made great plays, and definitely Josh Allen was one of them. He was awesome in that game.
There was tons of good games. The Dallas game was fantastic yesterday. The Minnesota game, of course. New York and Washington was very entertaining last night, I thought.
Yes, I agree.
Probably leaving one out, but I didn't get to see any of the Detroit Lions game. That probably was a good one too. So a lot of good games yesterday.
Yep, absolutely. So we will see an update on those teams here that are battling for that 6th and 7th spot, right? So I'll give you the early lines here. The Giants are a 3.5 point underdog. against the Vikings. So Giants are an underdog. Washington is a 7-point underdog against Seattle, or excuse me, against San Francisco. That's another underdog. Seattle is a 9.5-point underdog to the Chiefs. So there's 3 of the teams that are underdogs. And then you have the Lions. They are a 2.5-point favorite. So the Lions are favored. The other 3 teams competing are underdogs. Not that means anything, just saying.
Yeah, I give the Giants half a chance against the Vikings. The Vikings, I don't know. I say they're not that good. They just aren't. No. They just aren't. I don't think the Commanders can beat the 49ers. I don't think they have the quarterback. And I like the guy, but I don't think he's good enough to go out there and beat him.
Sydney makes a good point. She thinks Minnesota's getting beat in the first round, and that's who Philadelphia is going to play, whether that be the Giants, Commanders, Seattle, Detroit, whoever it ends up being.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It could happen. Now, the Vikings get a bye also.
Right.
So, yeah, that could happen. I'm not high on the Vikings. I think San Francisco is the second best team in the NFC.
I could see San Francisco getting up and getting that 2 seed as well. So Vikings may end up being 3, and then they'll have to play the 6, which, if San Francisco would take care of the 7, then the 6 would play Philadelphia. So
yeah, the thing about the Niners, their defense is so good. It's really it's tough, and it's hard to beat them in San Francisco. It's hard to go out there and win.
Let's see. Final thought here before we go on. That terrible NFC South, 6-8. Tampa still in the lead. Other 3 teams are 5-9. Scrolling up here, Tampa is a favorite against the Cardinals this weekend, so they are favored.
Is that at home?
No, it's at Arizona.
They got to win that game.
They have to. The Falcons are 7-point underdogs against the Ravens. Carolina 2.5-point underdogs against Detroit. And the the Saints are 3-point underdogs against the Browns. So
they have to go to Cleveland.
Yes. Amazingly, at 7-8, all the other teams could lose and they could fall to 5-10. And they're at 7-8, they're going to be 2 games ahead with 2 games to go.
They're awful. Tampa Bay is awful.
Yeah. It's incredible. It's just incredible that they're going to win this division. Absolutely incredible. Couple questions here. World Cup, Davey wants to know, did you go and watch it? You said you were going to. Did you watch it?
I did. I was reading some stuff on Twitter today from some guys that aren't soccer people either. Mm-hmm. And I kind of thought the same thing. I just don't think you should decide a game of that magnitude by penalty kicks.
Right.
I just don't think you should, because it's fairly easy to score. I mean, obviously the Argentina goalie was a little better than the French. I just don't think a game of that magnitude should come down to that. I think you play till somebody scores a goal.
Well, and I think, they could have done that, right? Yeah. Because a team did score a goal in overtime, and if it was sudden death overtime, it's like, okay, it's over. But, in a soccer game, you might play for 2 hours before somebody was to score.
Well, I guess, and I shouldn't be making comments because I'm not a soccer guy. I don't understand it. I don't know that much about it, I should say. But I just feel like that's kind of, just don't think you should solve a game of that importance on penalty kicks when it might be kind of lucky when you do stop one. I don't know. Now, Mike Somage he's a soccer guy. He was dead on the Daily Show yesterday that he thought if they got to overtime, Argentina had the game won.
Right. Got to the penalty kick. Yeah.
Got to the penalty kicks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because he knew the goalie. He said this goalie will stop him.
And he knew that their penalty kickers, whatever you want to call them, were really good too. Yeah. And you notice he did call he said they'll insert somebody in there that hasn't played very much.
Yep.
And their second guy, I think it was the second one, hadn't played but about 10 minutes, I think.
Yep.
And he nailed that kick. Did the French goalie he never stopped one, did he?
I don't think so.
I don't think he did either. So.
No.
The Argentine goalie stopped too.
We
But it was kind of cool.
We stayed together watching that after the show, and when it went to penalty kicks, he said, "You just got to watch this goalie for Argentina. He's a nut, and he will mess with them." And he is. He's crazy, and he's my only favorite soccer player. So that Argentina goalie, I don't know his name, but he is my favorite.
He looked pretty old.
Maybe he is. I don't know.
He did. You know, I was sitting there watching that, and of course, in the United States, it's most of us could care less because soccer's not that big. But in those countries, that's it, man.
Yeah. And
the pressure on those kickers. To me, I don't blame the goalie if he doesn't stop it.
No.
It's the kicker. It's if the kicker makes a good kick, it's going to be hard to stop it. And that would be what the pressure on those kickers to make that goal. You know, because those French guys have got to feel horrible about missing them. But that was really cool that Messi got to win in his last go at it. That was pretty cool.
This is pretty funny. Car Ramrod says, typical bashing from non-soccer community. Geez, you didn't see you complaining when Steph Curry won the dunk contest in Game 7 of the finals to give the Warriors the championship.
I don't get that.
He's saying how do you not get that? You don't see how that's funny?
Won the dunk contest. What do you mean?
He's saying how crazy would it be if it came down to a dunk contest to win the NBA championship? I
think it would be stupid.
Exactly. That's what he's saying. It's he's trying to be funny. I thought it was hilarious.
I know, but I thought he's just kind of proving my point.
Exactly. He is.
Okay, Car Ramrod. I'm sorry. I thought you'd make him fun of
sarcasm.
Okay. Got it. See, I don't understand these guys like you do. You're right. It is.
I compare it to this in the Stanley Cup final. Well, in the Stanley Cup playoffs, you play overtime. You don't do shootouts.
You don't do the shootouts. Absolutely. Because you don't want to, you play 5-on-5 overtime. In the regular season, you play 3-on-3 for 5 minutes, and then you go to shootouts,
right? Which
is phenomenal to watch. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Stanley Cup playoffs, you play till somebody scores.
Yeah.
And
I do like the shootouts. I like the shootouts as well, but I don't want to see them in my playoffs.
No.
Yeah.
And by the way, you were talking about soccer might go on and on and on. Well, some of those hockey games go 5, 6, 7 overtimes, They'll play all night, some of them.
Car Ramrod, that was totally on Papa Dude. Everybody knew what you were trying to get at.
I did not. So I'm sorry. I absolutely apologize. And that's why I didn't understand it. Well, when you said the non-soccer community, I thought you were a member of the soccer community. And that's what threw me off.
Yeah. Michael says, come on, Papa Dude, let's go.
But he's absolutely right. Yeah, let's have a dunk contest to win the NBA championship. Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but it's been that way forever.
So. Well, and I'm not into soccer enough to understand it. So listen, guys, everybody got the joke but me. Okay. You've made your point, and that's good enough. You made your point. I didn't understand. What threw me off is when he said the non-soccer community, which made me think he was a member of the soccer community, which, by the way, if you are, you're weird, but that's okay.
He was like, you were like, come on, let's fight about this. What are you talking about?
No, I didn't understand. Yeah. Well, it was a great point, Car Ramrod, and I really appreciate it.
You're like, they didn't have a dunk contest. What's he talking about?
I didn't know what the hell he was talking. Did Steph Curry make a dunk at the end of the championship game? I didn't see it. I didn't quite get that. Anyway, you're right.
Anyway, that's it. Right. That's all the time we've got. Do you have it? Oh yeah, Cindy, you reminded me there with your last comment there. She asked, what do you think about moving the championship game to Sunday for the Bison instead of Saturday?
I don't like it at all, Cindy. I saw your comment on Twitter, and I thought it's stupid too. And I'd rather them play it maybe even a week early rather than that, or something. I'm glad you brought that up. I did want to mention it. If you guys have not seen North Dakota State play, you need to watch. It was one of the best football games I have ever seen.
Yeah.
the other night. Them and Incarnate Word, 35-32 in the Fargo Dome. Incredible game. Incarnate Word was fantastic. And I don't know how North Dakota State won. I don't. But again, if you don't know anything about them, look it up and see their record over the last 10 years. It's phenomenal, or less 11 years, 12 now. It's phenomenal what they've done. And this game with South Dakota State for the national championship is must-see TV.
I was going to say, if you thought that game was great, this one might be better. South Dakota State defeated North Dakota State in the regular season 23-21, a great game. Now they're going to rematch for the national championship. Unfortunately, it is on a Sunday, as Sydney says. But
I wonder if it's at night.
It's 1 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. On
that is
January
so good.
8th. January 8th, 1 o'clock.
And there's no college football on Saturday, is there? There wouldn't be. The national championship game would be Monday.
Why are they waiting so long to play? I guess they're going to skip all the holiday, but that's
Yes.
like a long time to wait.
Why wouldn't you have that on Saturday before the national championship game for the big boys on Monday?
I don't know.
Because now you got the NFL audience.
Yeah.
That is so. Well, I know what game I'll be watching, and I will be glued to the TV because the Jackrabbits and the Bison are going to put on a show in Texas, I believe, is where that game is.
Yes. So the Jackrabbits are 13-1. Their only loss came to Iowa, first game of the year. They lost.
And they almost won that game.
Yeah, should have won that game.
And these two teams hate each other.
Yes, so they're 13-1. Only loss was to the Division I program. And like I said, with North Dakota State, not that we need to brag on them anymore, but they're 12-2. Their losses were to Arizona and to the South Dakota State team. So it's going to be an amazing game.
It's already been a down year for North Dakota State. They've lost 2 games.
Right. Well, I remember when they were playing Arizona and Sydney was pissed that North Dakota State lost that game to Arizona with a Division I team, but they usually win.
It's incredible. And if you really want to watch some great football, and this Incarnate Word North Dakota State game was savage. Yep. They were just knocking the crap out of each other. It was tackling at its best. I mean, yes, it was great. It was a great game.
By the way, they North Dakota State lost 31-28, so they lost by 3 to Arizona.
Yeah.
And like I said, South Dakota State lost by 4 to Iowa. I mean, these two teams would be bowl teams in Division I. I have no doubt these two teams would make bowls if they were into Division I.
No doubt.
Yeah. So,
and I could see before too long North Dakota State trying to go to Division I. I could see that down the road.
Maybe we'll see. They've been great. They were Division II. Now they're Division I. So that was way back in the day. They were Division II, but still,
they're phenomenal.
All right. Anything else before we get out of here?
I got a couple questions, but let's make them short.
Okay.
Because I'm getting hungry.
All right.
What's your favorite Christmas song?
Oh, I really don't like any of them.
Come on, there wasn't one as a kid you didn't like.
Oh, I guess Santa Claus is Coming to Town would be my favorite, but I really hate them all.
Oh my God! So when you were a kid and we were sitting around playing Christmas music at night, I shouldn't even have had it on.
No, I hated it. Never liked it.
You didn't like Rudolph?
Not really.
Not really?
No.
You dumb?
Just
not realistic.
I guess. Yeah, sure. That's the reason.
Well, I like It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year, but you probably never heard of it.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Davey likes White Christmas.
Yeah.
That's all right. Little draggy.
I did.
I guess, Last Christmas by the way.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
No. Oh, okay, Car. That's good.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I like that.
My generation, we listened to Christmas music from about the first day of December all the way through. At night, we would have records, actual records that they would play.
Heather loves Christmas music.
What's her favorite? Is she in the room?
What's your favorite? You don't have a favorite? She likes them all, she says.
Likes them all.
Yeah. You don't have one favorite? No? Okay.
All right.
Rocking around the Christmas tree. That's her favorite.
I like that one too. Yeah. Is that Jingle Bell Rock?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that one.
Right? It is, isn't it? Yeah.
But you hate one I really like. All I Want for Christmas Is You.
No, I don't like that.
No, I know you hate it.
Yeah.
Who sings that?
What is
Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey, isn't it?
I don't know. She may have sang it recently. I don't know if she started that. Did she? I don't know.
Who is it, Cindy? Who sings that? All I Want. Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey. Okay, there you go. Mariah Carey.
Mariah
All right.
Carey.
What's the next question? Enough of this.
I didn't.
You did too.
What? She said I just locked my bathroom door. I didn't. All right, here's last one. I hope I know the answer to this. Do you own holiday pajamas?
No.
Good.
Now, I do have an aunt that buys us pajamas every.
So you do have to wear them.
Well, they're not holiday pajamas though; they're just regular.
Oh,
Like
They
they're
don't
not. They're not holiday themed.
okay.
Like one year, I got a pair of OU pajamas.
Oh, well, that's different.
One year it's flannel, blah blah blah. But no, I don't have a holiday pajama. No. But that is kind of in New York when we're there. That is we get pajamas for Christmas. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, last one.
Okay.
Can you name Santa's reindeer?
No.
God, you are bad.
No, I can't.
Can
Donner,
you name any of them?
Vixen, Donner, Vixen,
That's
Blitzen,
two.
Kritzen,
Three.
Hitzen? No.
No.
Rudolph. Comet? Cupid?
Yes.
Did I say Donner? I did.
Did you say Cupid?
Did I say Cupid? I said Cupid. Can't see that. Are you crazy? Dasher. Dasher?
Hey, one to go.
What does it say? Dancer. Dancer.
Well, you got another one because I don't think you said this one.
Hold on. She's getting it for me.
She cheated.
Prancer. Prancer.
All right, you cheated. All right, that's it.
Well, I'm doing so good with these Christmas themes. You don't have anything else?
Okay. You guys going to do anything special on Christmas Eve? You probably got to go somewhere on Christmas Eve.
Eve, yeah. I will be busy Christmas Eve.
Do you know this year, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Now, I will say this, and I told my mom my tradition, okay? And so I have to go over there, but I'm not going to break my tradition. This is my number one Christmas tradition.
I know
without
this.
Any doubt. Christmas Eve, the Hawaii Bowl.
Yes.
I watch it from start to finish. That's my Christmas Eve.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's been canceled the last 2 years. So
Yeah.
Christmas has been awful, but I don't think they're going to cancel it this year.
Well, this year, for some reason, Sandy and I have Christmas Eve and Christmas Day together alone. We don't have to go anywhere. That's what I'm trying to say. Kind of looking forward to it.
I think that's a good thing to do.
Yep, we're gonna
Christmas Eve's gonna be Middle Tennessee and San Diego State over at Hawaii. It's gonna start.
There you go. And that one's at 7:00.
Yes, can't wait. Can't wait.
All right, that's a dandy.
It's gonna be fun.
Tremendous matchup.
Probably get the Woodford Reserve out and watch this game. That's what I used to do before COVID ruined my Christmas the last 2 years.
Yeah. Going to toast the Aztecs and what's Middle Tennessee? The Blue something.
Blue Raiders.
Yeah, Blue Raiders. Yeah.
Should be good. Yep.
Yeah.
Should be good. Okay.
Right. Let's get out of here.
That's it. All right, guys, we're going to get out. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. It's been another fun show for sure. Once again, we will be back on Thursday, right? Are we doing Thursday?
Well, I can. It depends on blinkers off.
Let's see. We don't have any. What? No, we don't have anything going Thursday.
No blinkers off?
We're going to be gone Thursday? Where are we going? It's this week. I'm talking about Thursday of this week. We'll be here. What she's thinking next week. No, Thursday, blinkers off. Yeah, but we can have a show. We don't have anything going Thursday other than
well,
that.
Just look for your notices, people. We'll decide when we're going to do it.
Yes, we will be back Thursday. Next week, we're not going to do it, though. I can already tell you that. Next week's out. But Thursday, we will be back. So check back here Thursday. We will have a show. Don't know what we'll talk about yet, but we'll figure it out. So, all right, guys. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you on Thursday.
This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.